Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the 25th day of November, 2022. Happy Friday. I hope you enjoyed your holiday yesterday and that you and your family are safe and healthy today, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, as well as those who are the first responders who every day are trying to save lives. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. And blessings also upon those, let me not forget those that are out here picking up garbage for us to keep streets and highways and parks clean. As well, double blessings on the men and women who are out here trying to rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and the children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims also of pornography and child pornography. The victims also of sex slavery and human trafficking. Double curses on the perpetrators. Double curses on the profiteers. And double curses on the perverts who are out here trafficking in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and mostly children living on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There is a scheduled basketball game tonight. The New York Knicks are going to be taking on the Portland Trail Blazers at Madison Square Garden tonight. I'm not going to be able to watch the game live because it's the spot, but I'm going to watch the game on the replay by the grace of the Most High tomorrow. Let me tell you this. Don't sleep on the Portland Trail Blazers. First of all, they're well coached. If you've been watching the career of, if you've seen the career, if you've been following the career, if you've watched the career of one Chauncey Billups, you remember him from University of Colorado. You remember him coming to the Boston Celtics. You remember him being labeled a bust after he went to the Boston Celtics and didn't perform as his status indicated as a lottery pick. You remember him struggling till he got to Denver. Then you remember him getting to Detroit with one Larry Brown. Larry Brown had won in college. He had not won in the NBA. He was known as a very stubborn and difficult coach to play for. Does this sound familiar to some of y'all? Larry Brown couldn't win the big one, it was said. Does this sound familiar to some of y'all? Larry Brown took the Philadelphia 76ers to the finals where they got crushed by the Los Angeles Lakers. Larry Brown didn't have a chip. Larry Brown was especially hard on his point guards. Point guards did not like to play for Larry Brown. Larry Brown got a hold of this particular point guard, Chauncey Billups, and all of a sudden, Chauncey Billups became Mr. Big Shot. The thing about Chauncey Billups is that everybody, if you watched him throughout his career, a tough kid. This sound familiar? A high IQ ball player, the type of point guard that most of us kind of felt and knew was going to one day make a great head coach. Just Chauncey Billups. And he is coaching the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, right now, the Portland Trail Blazers are 10-8. Right now, the Portland Trail Blazers, in terms of the Western Conference standings, the Portland Trail Blazers right now are ninth at 10-8. There's one game, just one game separates the Denver Nuggets in the second seed from the Portland Trail Blazers in the ninth seed. Just one game. Okay, that's it. And 1.5 games separates the top seed Phoenix Suns from the ninth seed Portland Trail Blazers. So this could change rapidly. The Portland Trail Blazers are led by one Dame Dollar. I won't call Dame Dollar necessarily a Knick killer. We can call Dame Dollar a killer, period. He's not just a Knick killer. See, a Knick killer is generally those guys that are average NBA players, but all of a sudden perform career nights when they're either in Madison Square Garden or playing against the Knicks. They see the Knicks uniform and they go off. Terrence Ross comes to mind, right? You get guys like that. There's Chill Will Barton. They just do stuff against the Knicks. They just do work against the Knicks. The Portland Trail Blazers do have such a player on their roster. His name is Gary Payton Jr. The good thing for us is Gary Payton Jr. is not playing tonight. Neither is Dame Dollar. But they do have Anfernee Simons. Anfernee Simons, I like to use him as an example to us in Knicks Nation who don't understand what development looks like. Let's use this as an educational opportunity, shall we? So Anfernee Simons was drafted in 2018, the 24th pick by the Portland Trailblazers. He come out of a high school academy. I forgot what's the name of it. I can't remember the name of the account. But he comes out of a high school academy that he played for. Could jump 6'3", 181. But at the time he was drafted by the Trailblazers, he was playing behind Dame Dollar and CJ McCollum, who basically was an institution. That top pairing as far as point guard and guard, one of the top pair of backcourt mates in the NBA. And Portland was trying to get over the hump. So you ain't hear nothing, 2018, 2019, 2020, you ain't hear nothing from Anfernee Simons. If he was in New York, they'd have been saying trade him. But anyway, Portland was developing him, okay? And finally, last year, he had an opportunity and he broke out last year. Last year, all of a sudden, he started, scoring regularly in double figures when he got the opportunity. See, he was always there. The talent was always there, but you need to wait sometimes. This is his fourth season, going into his fifth. No, this is his fourth season right here. So now, all of a sudden, at the end of last year, he started taking over. And this is one of the reasons why CJ McCollum was expendable, because they drafted and developed Anfernee Simons. Okay. And so it takes a while. Some players, it takes 3 years. Some players come in 2 years. Some players, it takes 5 years. In Chauncey Billups' case, it took like 6 years for them to come to their top pro level abilities. Okay. It takes time. In New York, you don't have the patience to wait for a guy to develop properly. Right now, the Knicks have several players that are in development mode. And some of you say, well, it's been too long. Some of y'all need to just shut up and learn. Because you wait long enough, you might get a star. You might already have one. Some of you are downing and crapping on your play. We don't have no star. You don't even know that yet. You don't even know that yet. Okay? We may not be stars right now, but you don't know what's going to come in a couple of seasons. Like, for example, is of my opinion that you have several players that are all-star capability. They just haven't developed yet or haven't had the opportunity yet. Obi Toppin is one of them. Cam Reddish is another. RJ Barrett is another. And we have other players that are defensive player of the year capability. Just haven't gotten there yet. Mitchell Robinson. Okay. Deuce McBride. You got him. You just have to wait. And some of y'all will claim you've been waiting 20 years. That's stupid. You've been waiting 20 years for what? Because of the uniform? You know this is a new management team. Do y'all understand that? This is a new management team. Some of y'all do get it though. Most of you in Knicks Nation get it. And I'm very happy for you. Very happy to be part of a crew of people that understand basketball. So yes, we don't have to listen to Stephen A. Dunn or anybody on any of these platforms that's looking short-term, want to create headlines, don't know what they're talking about. We got a nice management team. We got a nice scouting team. They've been drafting properly, and now, finally, we're developing. Somebody will say, well, Tom Thibodeau ain't developing anybody. You're not paying attention. Obi wouldn't be who he is right now if it was for Tom Thibodeau. Neither would Cam Reddish. Neither would RJ Barrett. Neither would Randall. None of them. They're all developing under the tutelage of Tom Thibodeau. Okay? You may not like it. There's things I ain't like. There were things like last year I called them stupid, and some of y'all seem that seemed to stick in your mind, and you think I respect Tom Thibodeau. I just did the video a couple of weeks ago. I said I got his back. Because overall, I respect the man. Is the man perfect? No, there's no such thing as a perfect coach. But I like what he's doing. I like how he's developing these young kids. I like how they're going. See, right now, the Don helped him out by getting rid of certain veterans. Okay? So now you got the kids that we developed. Right now, on the Knicks, at this particular juncture, where we are right now, okay, y'all? Where we at right now? We got right now Jalen Brunson, who grew up. His father was an assistant under Tom Thibodeau. His father played on the Knicks when Tom Thibodeau was an assistant. He grew up around Tibbs and among other great coaches, but his style was developed along other places with Tibbs, the toughness, the defense, the IQ. Then you get a Cam Reddish, who Tom Thibodeau didn't want, but who Tom Thibodeau worked with, especially this summer. And now you got a 23-year-old dude that's got all-star potential, definitely high-level defense. You got R.J. Barrett, who was drafted now in his fourth season also. Just signed an extension that takes effect next year. He's 22 years old. He's developing also under Tibbs. Now, here's one of Tibbs' negatives. He plays R.J. Barrett a lot of minutes, and that's not always good. But in this particular year, with RJ being 22, he has run through the wall this year because he was sick. And you saw last game he went off, and that's more conducive for the RJ Barrett we're going to see most of this season. Julius Randle was heavy candy stats and no wins until Tom Thibodeau got him. Then all of a sudden we won 41 games, we're down 31. Last year, Tibbs relied too heavily on guys like Alec Burks, on guys like Evan Fournier, on guys that were veterans, which is another one of his negatives, and let some of these kids sit too long, as we all saw, and it cost. And then later on, his boy, Mark Berman, came out and said he regrets some of the decisions he made. That's learning. You know what? When somebody can humble themselves and do that, you got to respect that. Then, here come Mitchell Robinson, here come Quentin Grimes, here come Obi Toppin, here come Emmanuel Quickly, here come Jericho Sims, here come Deuce McBride. They coming, okay? My thing right now, Cam is listed for tonight's game. Cam, Mitch Rob, and D-Rose are all listed as questionable. From what Tom said from Wednesday, Mitch participated in the full practice. Rose did most of the practice, but Cam did not. He did some practice, which means we may not see Cam tonight, but that's no problem. We got Q, see? And so Grimes is ready to go. He can step right in. Him, Brunson, Barrett, Randall, Robinson. Okay? Then we got, of course, Jericho Sims. Now, right now, the only tidbit, I think most of us, a lot of us in Knicks Nation have expressed, at least on my channel, and I agree, I really would like to see more Sims than Hartenstein. And that's no knock on Hartenstein. That's no knock on Hartenstein at all. But it's the development of Jericho. Here's Jericho in his second year. And he's already developing. That's one of the benefits of getting a mature player, because Jericho is a 4-year player at Texas, and so that sometimes you get them. The reason people don't want them is because you're afraid that he already hit their ceiling, which happens a lot. They hit their ceiling, and you can't get much more out of them. That's not true of Jericho Sims. He is definitely developing. He's rim protected. He's got the agility, the hip movement, the foot movement to play defense against even guards, as we saw that he did in Denver. And then, of course, now what I'm noticing that Jericho's doing that he didn't do last year, and this is only his second year, he's getting rebounds in traffic. He's getting rebounds with contact. And then we saw him in the last game snatch some boys from two Oklahoma City Thunder, shake them off, and then flush it on them. That's a grown man. That's what I call a grown man move right there. So Jericho's starting to do grown man moves on people. I'd like to see a little bit more of him. I'd like to see a little bit more of him, but that's up to Tibbs, right? So tonight against Portland is a good time for the Knicks to get this win with no Dame Dollar, no Gary Payton Jr., the Knick killer. We got a good shot. We can't sleep on him now because Anfernee Simons can play. Okay, he can play. And they still got a crew of dudes. Like, you still got, Justice Winslow. This cat has been injury prone his whole career, but he can play. When he's healthy, he can hurt us, man. Josh Hart out of Villanova, another dude can help. And of course, they got Yusuf Nurkic, which honestly, I'm not worried about him. He's a good player, but I'm not worried about him. But Jeremy Grant. Now, okay, so you're going to start Anfernee Simons. Keon Johnson is out. You're going to start Josh Hart. You may start Nasir Little, an athletic freak out of North Carolina, another dude that they're developing well, a baby version of Dennis Rodman, if you want to think. A baby Dennis Rodman. Not exactly Dennis Rodman, but he got that style. Game, plays that defense, got that athletic ability, rebounds, runs the floor, all of that. And then, of course, there's Jeremy Grant. So Shaedon Sharpe is a kid that the kid some of y'all wanted the Knicks to get. I particularly didn't because I don't like risk. I try to reduce risk as much as possible in the draft. The draft is a risk in itself, but that don't mean you just roll the dice. Some of y'all just do that. You don't understand. Dude's job is on the line. Nobody's going to just roll the dice when you're in the front office. Dude's job is online. Just roll the dice, heck with it. You ain't getting paid by the MSG. You know what I'm saying? These cats got to be careful. And so they got to reduce risk. Shaden Sharp might end up being that dude. But I'm not sorry we didn't draft him. I'm not going to go back and say woulda, coulda, shoulda. Forget that. No, I'm glad we did what we did. Okay? But he's coming on pretty nicely. The 19-year-old kid is coming on pretty nicely. That basically didn't play, the year that he was at Kentucky. He didn't play. He just, was getting ready for the draft. But he's doing pretty good. He could end up being that dude. He's only 19, and he's not going to be 20 until next spring. Next spring, May sometime. So the kid might be able to play. So he's another one. He coming in tonight to Madison Square Garden. He might decide, let the world know who I am. Got to watch him. Okay. So the Knicks still, though, are the better team right now. In my opinion, the Knicks are a better team right now. And we still have not seen the Knicks at full strength. And when I say full strength, I'm not talking about just like health-wise. I'm talking about the combination of health-wise with the right mix of rotation. So Tom been trying to figure out his rotation. So for now, I think we understand in Knicks Nation, and he has shown us so far that it's Brunson, Reddish, Barrett, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. We have not seen that crew, run together very long. You understand? Because Mitch Rob has been out, and now Reddish might be out. So you haven't seen him. To me, you give that 5 with, to me, Quick, Grimes, Toppin, and either Hartenstein or Sims. And I know y'all love D Rose, but I'm trying to tell you, D Rose 34 years old. Yeah, I love D Rose, but I'm not looking back fine. He's a former MVP, blah, 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 blah. Give me some Deuce McBride, please. Because that's the point of attack defense we need. Give me some Deuce. And so if you could run Deuce in that second unit and run Cam and them in the first unit together, to me, you get that set running together for 10, 20 games, you're going to see what you got. Because I think we got a good team with that. We just haven't seen it yet. Okay. Brunson getting used to the thing. They all were sick on that road trip and still ended up 3-2. Cam Reddish just now getting acclimated. Now he going to be, he might miss the game tonight. But I don't want him hurting himself. I'm not worried about Cam. I'm pretty confident Cam going to be all right. If he need the rest tonight, rest. And come back against Memphis on Sunday, that's going to be the game. Sunday or Monday, whenever we play in Memphis, that's going to be the game. So, but we're going to be in good shape with Quentin Grimes. Either way, right? So, but I'd like to see that 5 with Brunson, Reddish, Barrett, Randall, and Robinson healthy. I'd like to see that unit, that second unit with Quick, Grimes, Obi, either Hartenstein or Sims with Deuce. I think we can get some things done. I think we could do some damage in the East with that. We just haven't seen that yet. It took us a point to get to that point where we know that's what we can roll with. And I think Tom is almost there. Deuce showed out, on the defensive end these last couple of games. So maybe he'll earn some minutes. And plus D Rose did hurt his toe, so we'll see what happens. But I like our chances tonight. I think we win this game. It's going to help us right now in the East. There's 2 games, just 2 basketball games, just 2 wins separate the New York Knicks at the 7th or 8th or tie for the 8th, 7, 8, and 9 seed are all tied. And there's just 2 games that separate them from the 4th seed Atlanta Hawks. There's 3 games that separate them from the 3rd seed Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, this tight. Not as tight as the West is, but it's tight. Okay, and I'm liking the fact that we're now just finding out what we got, what our rotation is, because it's going to get better. It's going to get better over time, especially if they can all stay healthy. It's going to get better over time. So I like our chances tonight. I think we can beat Portland at MSG tonight. I'm going to see the game on replay tomorrow night. Our sun is setting pretty early these days, so I'll probably get to watch the game tomorrow at 6 and then review it either tomorrow night or Sunday. I'll tell y'all. But I'm liking our chances tonight. I think we can beat these guys. We can add, get our 10th win. I estimated that the Knicks after 20 games would be 11-9. I thought 5-5 for the first 10, 6-4 for the second 10. And so I'm still sticking with that, which means I'm expecting them to win tonight. So they'll be 10-9 after tonight. And they're going to get better as the season goes on. Some of y'all look at them as a 500 team and think that's what they're going to be for the year. You're short-sighted. They're going to get better, especially if they stay healthy. You start going past 30 games, 40 games, they're going to start looking a lot better. And so they're better than 500 team. Again, I like them at 45-37 for the season, maybe better, but I like them at 45-37 at the least. and I think we'll be in good shape going forward. So tonight, Knicks Portland. I'm looking for a W at MSG on Friday night. Knicks are not only not that good on Friday night at MSG, to be honest with you, but I'm looking for a W for them tonight. All right? Y'all enjoy yourself. Please be safe. Shalom.